Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Sunday Guardian show by Joyeeta Basu. Today I want to do a brief overview of G20 and tell you about the important role India played in the just concluded G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia, where we took over the presidency of the group for a year. Now, I'm told that very few people outside those who follow international relations know what the G20 is about. So, here is a brief introduction. As Ambassador Surendra Kumar wrote in the latest edition of the Sunday Guardian, headlined May G20 Bring the World Together in Harmony. The Group of 20 is a global forum or a platform for economic cooperation among governments and its need. Now, the need for G20 arose from a series of economic crises in the late 1990s in Mexico, Asia, Russia, and even in the US, when the economically powerful G7 countries realized that to stabilize the world against economic problems, they needed to cooperate with the middle income countries or what is also known as emerging economies. Now, the G20 was founded in 1999 as a forum where finance ministers and central bank governors discussed global economic and financial issues. It was later turned into a premier forum for international economic cooperation where heads of state and government would meet. Now, 19 countries and the European Union as an entity are members of the G20. It's only since 2011 that the G20 summit is being held annually. Now, it has a rotating presidency. The countries that comprise the G20 are Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, UK, the US, and the European Union. Now, as India takes charge as G20 president, it is a huge opportunity for us to showcase India to the world, as well as to take a leadership role and direct the G20 to doing things constructive. Now, starting December 5, 2022, India will organize over 200 meetings all over the country where working groups will discuss and find solutions to global economic and other problems. Now, apart from evaluating how the goals set in previous G20 meetings were being met. Now, participation in these meetings will be from ministers and others from G20 countries. The main summit of heads of state and government will take place in New Delhi in September 2023. Now, like every G20 summit, India too has invited several observer countries, including from the global south, that is the poorer countries. Now, this is the first time such a major global summit is taking place in India. Now, because the G20 countries currently comprise more than 80% of world GDP, 75% of global trade, and 60% of the global population. So, yes, it is a very big deal for India. Now, we also need to realize that the focus of the G20 has expanded over the years. Now, from macroeconomic issues to matters of trade, sustainable development, health, agriculture, energy, environment, climate change, and anti-corruption. In fact, this year, India got inserted in the Bali Declaration, or what is known actually the outcome document, the matter of countering terrorism. Now, the outcome document talks of combating money laundering, terror financing, etc., and also the work that FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, needs to do. Now, here we also need to speak a bit about the G20 theme. The country that heads the G20 selects the theme for the summit. For the last 2 years, recovery from the coronavirus pandemic was one of the main themes, first in Italy and then in Bali this year. Now, sustainable energy too, among others, is a major theme. And now India's G20 presidency will focus on food and energy security, health, women's empowerment, digital infrastructure, agriculture, education, culture, tourism, climate, fight against economic crime and multilateral reforms, etc. Now, the theme that India has chosen, people in India should know by now, is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. The G20 logo describes our motto as one earth, one family, one future. Now, but then there is a problem which nearly derailed the Bali summit. The problem is the Russia-Ukraine war, because of which focus got nearly shifted from other equally important issues that Indonesia had been working on for a year. Now, to pacify egos and to pacify anger and massage egos, Indonesian leader Joko Widodo had invited even Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to address the summit via video. Now, even then, the big worry was that matters of poverty, hunger, and lack of energy security would take a back seat because the anti-Russian bloc was more interested to fix Russia. And this, even though issues of poverty, hunger, and lack of energy security have got aggravated because of the war. In fact, things came to such a pass that the outcome document almost did not materialize, as the parties involved could not agree on what should go in the text. The West wanted strident criticism of Russia, which Russia and China were not willing to incorporate. Even otherwise, the group photo of the world leaders did not take place because many of them did not want to be on the same frame with any Russian. In short, the summit was headed for disaster. And it was here that India and Indonesia played a hugely constructive role to bring things back on track. As India's Foreign Secretary Vinay M. Quatra said at a press conference in Bali, three elements helped sort out the problem: an approach which was constructive, cooperative, and aimed at consensus building across a whole range of issues that were negotiated in the outcome document. Now, according to Mr. Quatra, the outcome document was negotiated in a global context, and that global context did find a mention in the document. I think he meant the Ukraine war. Now, he also said, and there the Prime Minister's message that this is not an era of war and the best way is to return to the path of dialogue and diplomacy to resolve the conflict was conveyed. Now, according to our Foreign Secretary, this helped bridge the gap to come to a consensus which was reflected in the outcome document. In the end, if the Bali outcome document is a testimony to India's bridge building ability, India needs to sharpen this even further in the next 1 year, because it will not be easy turning the extremely divided world into one family, which Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our G20 motto, stands for. Thank you for watching. Until the next one.